Migos with me and Thatch.
Yeah, we gonna be sweaty as freak.
If I get you 100, shawty, you better be doing the same. Ain't no time to play it with you, shawty ain't running no games. If you give me your love and I give you my heart, shawty, I promise to never depart. Real love don't die. Oh, life is a gamble, I gamble my heart away. She doing voodoo magic, Penny Hardaway.
Hey man, welcome back to another OTG podcast, man. This number 6 for y'all, man. We got my boy T Thatch in here, man.
What's up?
Hey, little story about T Thatch, bro. This dude coached me in high school football. He coached Sebastian, bro. And look what he's doing now. He's preaching the word, just like we doing. So it's crazy how the world works. It's crazy how God works. So, hey Thatch, bro, like, what's been on your mind?
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of things that are on my mind a lot. But dealing with youth on the different levels that I get to deal with them on. Two things that really jump out are young people dealing with trauma. And when I say young people, I don't mean just teenagers on the 18. I mean after your teenage years, your early 20s, and I also mean kids in elementary school and kids in middle school as well. Because oftentimes when we say young people, I think the stereotype has been just dealing with teenagers. It's really been young people are young people. Young people are young people until they mature. And until they hit their 30s or 35s or something like that. So young people dealing with trauma and just young people trying to fit in are two things that really jump out in my mind. Trauma is much more deeper than what people think. Trauma is way more deeper than just going through something or something that happened to you. Trauma affects every single aspect of your life, whether that be abuse, dare I say molestation, rape, drugs, gang violence, a whole bunch of stuff, death in a family. You lost a loved one, loss of a close friend. Trauma, if not dealt with, it can haunt you for the rest of your life. That's why we see most adults really, dare I say, walking around acting like children, because they haven't dealt with that trauma that they dealt with when they were 10, 9, or 12 years old. So we all have traumas. We all have some traumatic event that has affected us in some way. Some of us have dealt with it. Some of us haven't dealt with it. And the message I would say to young people that are dealing with trauma is actually the message that I preached in my previous sermon at Mount Calvary would have been, you are worth it. And oftentimes we forget, young people often forget that they are worth it, and that traumatic event made them forget, and took power over them. And that traumatic event said, "Nah, you're nothing. You are what you went through," and that's not the case. So when I say you are worth it, I don't mean you're worth it because I said so. I mean you're worth it because God said so, because He created us in His image and His likeness, and He holds the keys. Mm-hmm. He holds the keys. So trauma can be dealt with. Don't never let nobody tell you, young people, that there isn't anybody in this. There aren't good people in this world. There are a lot of bad people. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are a lot of bad people, but there's a lot more good people too. There's a lot more good people, and reach out to these good people. Because these good people can help you, and they can also connect you closer to God.
Mm-hmm. Hey, some of these good people, man. T Thatch right here. Yeah. Hey, we gonna drop his Instagram down here, so y'all can text him whenever y'all gotta text him, because he's a good youth pastor, man.
Yeah, definitely reach out.
Please, for real, please. Y'all got any questions? Tap in with T Thatch, man.
So like Thatch opened up with the trauma. God wants you to cast your anxieties and your traumas up to Him. 1 Peter 5:7 says, casting all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you. God cares for you, so He wants you to be to the best of your abilities. What am I talking about? But don't stop. Good. And He wants to take things off of your shoulders and make everything light for you.
So that verse is saying, cast all your anxieties onto God. So I feel like that's a good way to, that's not a good way. That is the way, to relieve all your anxiety. You know what I mean? Right. To all your trauma, that is the way. Like, there's no other way but to give it to God. Like, God tells you in the Word to give all your anxieties, your trauma, all to God. He can heal it. So that's the only way to give it up. The gas ain't gonna stop that. Tapping the bottom of the bottle. I know I keep talking about it, but that's all I see. That's right. Tapping the bottom of the bottle ain't gonna stop that.
That's right.
So the whole thing is to give it to God. I know y'all always say the way you are now is because of past. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But don't allow the past to affect you now.
Yeah, the things in your past don't control your future.
No, not at all.
The past do not control your future.
With all the gas and the drinking and everybody's doing, that's just a temporary dismiss. To these
No,
problems.
you know what it is? It's a worldly fix.
It's a worldly fix.
It's a worldly fix.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's all worldly, like, cause you're gonna be fried for how long? I mean, an hour, maybe 2. You're gonna be drunk for how long? Like, and after that drunkenness goes off, what are you feeling again?
Regret.
Not regret. That trauma.
That trauma is still.
That trauma is still there. Plus the sickness of being drunk. Like, bro, like what are we doing? Like, what's going on in today's? I just don't get what's going on in today's world sometimes.
Some people are running from stuff though. Some people are running from stuff. We all been athletes, right?
Yeah.
You know, and we all been, you know, or you know, I can pertain to this actually. You know, we all been younger and played freeze tag, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, at some point, you know, after all that running and everything, at some point, whoever the designated tag person is, they gonna catch you, right?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Because you get tired.
You get tired.
You get tired.
At some point, man.
Hey.
So, you know, I think God, you know, and one of my mentors, actually, I call him Big Bro. Coach Boo, as a lot of y'all may know him, but if some of y'all don't know him, Frank McLeod, he always told me, you can't run from it. And at the time when he first told me that, I didn't know what he was talking about. But fast forward a couple years, I sat back and he said it to me again, and I was like, it registered what he was talking about. And what he was talking about was, we can't run from God's purpose for us. And if God has a calling for us, we can run from it as much as we can until we can run from it until we on our deathbed. But at some point, we gonna kneel down to God, or we're gonna come to God and we're gonna say, all right, God, have your way. Whether that's early in your life or whether you on your deathbed, at some point, you're gonna have to come face to face with God, and you're gonna be tired of running. And God's gonna tap you on your shoulder and he gonna say, are you ready now?
Yeah, that's true. We all gotta come to God one day.
Yep.
Like we said in the first episode of Classroom, God gives you a shield. He gives you the armor of light. So when you get tired and you can't run from it anymore, he shields you.
Shield of faith. Yep. Yeah. Shield of faith. Yes.
So when you cast all your anxieties onto the Lord and he gives you that armor, that is a long-term fix to your problems, to your trauma. Unlike these worldly ways to temporarily fix it, he gives you the armor and the shield.
Yeah, and then also a way that I see people trying to deal with their trauma and anxiety is by trying to fit in with the world. You know what I mean? Like, they trying to fit in with the world instead of coming to God.
That's right.
So, like I keep saying, like, y'all don't want to believe the truth. That's what it comes down to. It's like, y'all don't want to believe the truth because y'all see it in your face. In 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, it says, do not love the world or the things of the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
That's right.
So that speaks wonders right there. Like we keep saying, you got to give it to God. Like, you trying to fit in is not going to help anything. It's gonna make everything worse, to be honest, because you're not being who you are through God. If you ask God to show you who you are, there's no doubt that He's gonna show you who you are.
That's right.
Like, it's not hard. Just me.
The Bible has everything in it, man. Life lessons. It teaches you how to get. Now we're talking about casting your anxieties to the Lord. Now we're talking about fitting in. Who would have thought the Bible would be talking about fitting in?
No cap. But you know why they don't know? Because y'all don't open the Bible.
Open the Bible and read it.
You gotta open it. You gotta open it and read it.
Read the context.
I mean, hey, read the context because it's content in the context.
You gotta read.
But look,
gotta read.
Even though I'm reading it right here, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know it by heart yet. I ain't gonna say I'm this guy. I don't know it by heart yet. But I'm still reading it and learning while I'm reading. So all you gotta do is read it and learn it. And then once you learn it, it's gonna be in your head and then no one can stop you now. The devil's anxiety that he's trying to throw on you won't prosper because God is trying to prosper you.
That's right. That's right.
That's why we're here trying to talk to you guys and make these episodes, because just reading it, you probably won't get too much out of it. If you read it more and more, you'll start to learn the verses, but we gotta expand on the verses and explain them.
That's right. Fitting in, man. Fitting in. You know, I was never that person that wanted to fit in, man. You know, I got made fun of by my siblings because I wasn't like them. I didn't spend over $100 on shoes and everything. I still don't spend over $100 on shoes. I wore sweatpants and a t-shirt to school every day. Winter was sweatpants and a hoodie and a long sleeve shirt. Just fitting in, man. You know, I think oftentimes, you know, especially young people, we try to fit in because That's what we see on social media. That's what we see on reality TV. Hate to say it, don't hate to say it, but, you know, social media and reality TV, you know, it's kind of taking over the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's what we see every single day. You know, we're going to leave this building today, you know, and all three of us at some point tonight, you know, we're going to get on social media at some point.
Probably while I'm driving.
You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, somebody right now, even if it's just one person, is watching a reality television show, you know, and I think we see so much of what that is portraying, and I think our young people look at it as that's cool, and that's what I want to be, you know. And the other side of fitting in is that maybe their home life isn't all that great. You know, there's a lot of young people, especially young people that I get to encounter on a daily basis, you know, that home life isn't great, whether it be, you know, single parent home, whether it be mama or just daddy, whether it be, you know, they don't got no parents when they're being raised by the grandparent, or they're being raised by older sibling, or even just being raised by a relative in the family. I've encountered so many young people who are broken at home, you know, and we often talk about everything starts at home, you know. So all the problems that I see throughout the day, or what I deal with, and what these young people deal with, you know, I always ask myself the question, okay, you know, what's going on at home? I always try to figure out what's going on at home first before I assess a situation to a certain young man or certain young woman, because everything does start at home, you know. So I think the problem with our youth trying to fit in with the streets, fit in with, you know, a certain group at school. Fitting in may be you just not being yourself and just pushing yourself away from everybody. Fitting in doesn't necessarily have to be you trying to fit in with a certain group. Fitting in might be you just not making friends, not socializing with people, not trying some things out to see what you like and to see what you don't like, so you can understand and know what you're going to do after high school or when you get into the real world, into adulthood, you know. So fitting in, it doesn't necessarily got to be you fitting in with a certain group. It could be, you know, you just going to isolate yourself from everybody. But still, if you isolating yourself from everybody and you're being, dare I say it, you're being antisocial, and you're not going out and trying things, and you're basically just letting life pass you by, that counts as fitting in too, because you're trying to fit in to something that you're not. Oftentimes we try to fit in to things that we're not. I always bring things back to my mentors, because I had some very great ones. Another one of my mentors, my wide receiver coach, Ryan Montgomery, he always used to say, and he still says it to this day, it's hard to be different and it's okay to be different. And again, at the time, I didn't know what he meant. When he said it's hard to be different, we all been athletes, you know. And I'm going to speak primarily to the athlete, but I still want everybody to listen. You get up, you get dressed, you go to school, you're in school for 8 hours a day. For athletes, they don't get to go home after school. So for athletes, sometimes practice, you know, let's say you get out of school at 2:30, you know, practice starts at 3:15, all right, you know. Now 9 times out of 10, you got to sit down again for about 40 minutes because you got to do a meeting or some film study or some type of meeting before you head out to the actual field of play and the field of practice. And then you got to go through practice for about 2 hours. All right, so by the time all that's over, it's probably about 6 o'clock. Now, some coaches, they might want to get with you after practice. You might have to do something extra after practice. Or you might be that guy that takes forever getting dressed after practice. So by the time you get out of the locker room, it's probably maybe 6:40, 6:45, or maybe 7 o'clock. You don't get home till 7:30 or 8 o'clock sometime. Think about what I just said. That's a long day. You got up at 6 o'clock. You didn't get home until 8 o'clock. And the reason I broke down the schedule real quick is because it's hard to be different, because when you get home, as much as you may want to just eat, shower, go to sleep, you can't. Why? You got homework. You might have chores when you get home. You might have siblings that you got to take care of when you get home, especially if you're the oldest sibling in the house. You might have to study for a test. If you do play a sport, you might have to study your plays or whatever it may be, just so you can stay ahead and so you can stay on top of things. All that's not going to take an hour. Some of that might take 3 hours. So you getting home at 7:30, 8 o'clock. So by the time you go to bed, hopefully it'll be 11, because that's a decent hour to go to bed. But then you got to get up and you got to do that all over again. So the point I'm trying to make about it's hard to be different is that it's hard to handle your business as a young person, because whether you play a sport or whether you don't play a sport, you have long days. You have very long days. And nobody feels like doing nothing after a long day. You know, it's human. We're human. We make humanly mistakes and we have humanly emotions. It is hard to be different. But it's okay to be different. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be different because
it's actually good to be different.
It's great to be different, because while everybody else want to go out and party, while everybody else want to buy the shoes, while everybody else want to get the girls, get the man, whoever, whatever your preference is, while everybody else wants to do the things of this world, there's not enough people teaching and there's not enough people living on how to live through God.
Yeah.
We got to start teaching our young people to live through God and to live for God, because, and don't get me wrong, and I always say this, it's okay, listen, it's okay to have fun. Mm-hmm. I love having fun, but at some point, we got to recognize that fun takes a backseat to serving our Lord. Mm-hmm. And what's missing with our young people is that we're not teaching them how to serve God. We can John 3:16, Matthew 6:33, 1 Peter 5 verse 10, Psalms 100 verse 5. We can Bible thump these young people all we want. But at the end of the day, if we aren't teaching our young people how to serve God, and not just teaching them how to serve God, but showing them how to serve God, the Bible thumping doesn't mean a thing, because
you gotta teach them.
Yeah, you gotta teach them, because I can't tell you how many older people, since I've been going to church, since I've been 8 years old since I've been going to church. I can't tell you how many older people have thrown in my face, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, and whosoever believeth in him shall not perish and have everlasting life. Most people don't know the meaning behind that scripture. Mm-hmm. Most people just know that scripture because they hear everybody else saying it. It's like reality TV. It's like social media. They see it all the time. They hear it all the time. So, okay, I know that. You know John 3:16? Yeah, I know John 3:16. But the moment, and I'm talking to church people, I'm talking to and about church people right now, because the moment John 3:16 comes up and they have to use it, they forget the most important part of John 3:16. And that is the whosoever part. And the whosoever part is so important, because a lot of times we judge people. We judge people like this. I'll give you an example. Somebody could be on their deathbed and they could ask me, for example, I want to give my life to Christ. Some church folks might say, oh, that guy was on his deathbed and now he wanna give his life to God and he wanna live by God. That's how church people act.
Yeah. Sometimes they could be judgy.
What happened to the whosoever part though?
Yeah, whosoever believes in him.
Whosoever believeth in him. So when I say all that, I break that down to say this. It's about serving God. It's about serving God above all else. And for young people, if you try to fit in to this group or that group, I'm going to tell you this right now. From experience, 9 times out of 10, those people that you're trying to fit in with, when it comes down to it, they're not going to give you a dime if you need it.
No.
They're not going to give you a ride if you need it. They're not going to put clothes on your back if you need it. They're not going to feed you if you need it. They're not going to put a roof over the top of your head if you need it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be your shoulder to cry on if you need it, to talk to. They're just not going to be there 9 times out of 10. But there's always one guy. There's always one being that I know that is always going to be there for that shoulder to cry on, to put a roof over your head, to feed you, clothe you, and give you anything you need, and that's God. So my message is to not try to fit in with the things of this world, but to try to serve God the best way that he sees fit for you to do. The first thing you got to do is to give your life to him, then get to know him, just go serve him. Everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, that's true. And then also it comes to a point when it's like, we try to teach as much as we can, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it comes to a point where some of y'all don't want to listen. That's the hard part about it, because that's the hard part about it, because y'all hear it. I ain't gonna lie, and I'm not perfect. Yeah. I hear it sometimes, and I still want to do the wrong thing, and I still do the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. But it's like, at the same time, it comes to a point where we gotta realize in our life that what God has for my life is bigger than what I want to do for my life. Like the plans that He has for my life. I keep saying this because it's so true, but my plans ain't always His plans. So it's just like, when you try to fit in with your partner, it's like that should be natural. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to fit in with him or her, you already know right there it's not real, and don't try to do it. Just be you. Because like me and Sebastian, I'm gonna try to be like him, and he ain't trying to be like me.
Right.
I ain't trying to be like that. And that ain't me.
Right.
So it's like, make sure it's natural. Like, and if it ain't natural, and you trying to be like him, her, this, that, and the third, cut it off, because it ain't real. It ain't gonna work out.
That's right.
It ain't gonna work out at all.
That's right. I've been blessed. You know, I've been blessed enough to have
Deja vu.
4 great friends, four best friends, and I know that's not something that people say, you know, especially young men nowadays say. I know it's always my dude, you know, my boy, or stuff like that people say. But I got 4 best friends.
Sure, hey, I have best friends too, bro.
Yeah.
I got best friends too.
Two. What's to have you?
Yeah, me too, bro. Hey,
But for real though, two of which I met, you know, when I was in kindergarten. They happened to be twins, so that was a blessing in and of itself. I met my other best friend when I was in 7th grade. My other best friend, I'm the goddad of his son now. You know, I met him when I was in 7th grade as well, and I got 4 best friends I can count on. But I get to see 2 of them, you know, on a regular basis, you know. But the other 2 that I met when I was back in kindergarten, I don't get to see them that much, you know. But the thing that you harped on about, you know, I'm not trying to be like this guy, and I'm not trying to be like this guy, and about forcing a relationship. If one of them walked in this door right now,
it's like that.
Man, it's like we ain't missed a beat.
Yeah.
It's like we ain't missed a beat. You
That's
know,
how it
so
should be.
if you're trying to force a relationship, you know, whether it be with a family member, somebody you want to call friend, just somebody that you just see in school and you just want to get to know them. If you're trying to force it, so 9 times out of 10,
it ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
It ain't gonna work.
It's a reason you're trying to force it.
Yeah, it's a reason you're trying to force it. You know, so just sometimes we just gotta let things happen. We gotta let go, and we gotta let go.
Let go and let God. I had to let go and let God. Yeah. Hey, song dropping soon, man.
He ain't never gonna drop it.
I'm dropping. Hey, man, we all just got a little excited, bro, because this verse right here is pressure. Like, it says, 1 John 3:13. So, did you fart, bro?
Yeah, fuck.
Come on, bro. That's bad. That smell it too, but that's bad. Come on, bro. I'm trying to bless up.
That's bad.
It says, do not be surprised, brothers. The world hates you. Do not be surprised, brothers. The world hates you. So when y'all trying to fit into these worldly ways, all it's going to get back to you is hate. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, you know, I realized, like, all them cars, all the smoking gas you getting fired, all the buns you smacking. Bro, at the end of the day, what does that matter?
It don't matter.
What does it matter? Because when you die, what does it matter? Your soul is the only thing that goes up or down. Like, this body, this flesh that you're pleasing is gonna be gone. Yep. So all the money in the world, the richest millionaire, if he don't love God, the money don't matter. Right. It don't matter because you gonna be gone anyways. Your money's gonna be gone. Your money gonna get taken after you die.
That's right.
Like, your car's gonna get taken. It's not going with you. Nope. So y'all gotta realize the worldly ways. Just cut it out. I mean, don't cut it out because we're in the world now. But live right. That's the whole goal. Live right. God first. Because the world hates you at the end of the day. The world hates you. It's going to give you hate.
Cold world.
Cold.
Lovers of this world are lovers of themselves. Selfish.
That's right.
So, I'm talking. I'm just rambling.
I'm
rambling. It's the intro.
So when you cast your anxieties hold on, what's it? Casting your anxieties on him.
Ain't nobody but listen.
You're lightweight, like making me.
Arrows.
Yeah, that's more. That's more.
My back sweaty.
If I give you 100, shawty, you better be doing the same. Ain't no time to play it with you, shawty ain't running no games.